Okay, I'm working on my 2004 Mazda 3i, and this one has the manual 5-speed in it. And today I'm going to be replacing this passenger motor mount. I've had this one was bad on my others, and I checked it and it was completely gone too. And I'm going to be showing you how to get this out of here with removing as little as possible. We're going to not remove this. Basically, the first thing, we're just going to get this shroud out of the way, and this will just pop right up, and we can set that aside. And I've already got my part here. This is the replacement that is just going to bend down over the bracket, the existing bracket that we have. And I know I'm always talking about eBay. I get a lot of parts from eBay though, and I don't mind to sit around and wait for them to come in. I got this for $11 for this, and the last mount I got was supposedly a hydraulic mount, but to tell you the truth, I cannot tell any difference in this one and the last one I got. I paid just a few dollars more for it, but I'm thinking this thing looks exactly the same to me, so I just don't see the difference. But I'll know. We'll test this thing out and see how it does. But yeah, we're just going to get started on this. Only thing I'm going to do is get my jack. We're just going to get positioned under the car here, and I just like to get somewhere under the wheel supports there, or even get a hold of under the oil pan somewhere. But we'll see. We'll get it positioned here, and then I'll follow up. And I've just got my jack with a little block of wood positioned right here at the front. You can see where your front timing cover, and I just come down here to this area of the oil pan, put a block, and I'm just going to support it right there. And we won't have to move this a lot. I'll also get another block or a jack stand just for added safety to put under the engine while we're working on this here. Okay, first thing, we're just going to take our 17 millimeter and get these top two here loose to start with. Okay, if these stud bolts here try to pull out, you'll need to take you an 8 millimeter and put you a little Loctite and just fasten those back in there. I had this front one here tried to come out on me, and I just a little bit of Loctite and put it back down in there. And now we're just going to move on to our lower ones. You can see right there, those are 17 millimeters as well, and we just got one on the front and the back, and we're just going to go ahead and get those out of there now. Okay, and now with it completely loose, we're going to work on trying to get this out of here. Now we'll see if we can do this one-handed here. Now you'll notice that I do not have my overflow tank loose at this point. It's just in there. It's got a little bit of give to it, and I may have to just wiggle this around, but I just want to show you. And there it is. Took the whole thing out without removing any of that. Now this is what more than likely you'll see when you take this off here. It's completely separated. Now at this point, what I'm going to need to do, they actually glue this on here. The factory ones are a little bit more secured than this is going to be when I get it on there, but it's not really going anywhere. But the first thing we're going to have to do is get something and pry that up off of there. I like to use my little bitty screwdriver, and I'll just start working it loose, and we just have to peel that and pull that tab and start bending it. And once I get it bent enough, I can take some vice grips or a crescent wrench and just finish bending it. All we got to do is get one side and then we can slide it out. So we're just going to go ahead and work on that. Okay, I just wanted to show you what I was doing. I just have this little pry bar I'm working with right now, and I just got under here and started working on that. And I'm just going to do the same thing on this side, and then just get some pliers a hold of it, and we'll get this off of here. Okay, and I've popped those loose, and this thing is just ready to come out of here at this point. And you can just see that it's just completely separated and not doing a whole lot of good. So now probably going to be the most difficult part is we have to bend the other one back over this bracket. Now another good idea when you get this on the bench that I might point out, make sure to mark your side just so you don't mess up and put it on backwards. So in other words, you know you got your holes here. Make sure to just make you a mark or something to make sure that you don't accidentally put it on backwards when you're doing this, because then you'd have to take it back off and start over. So I'm going to go ahead and get the new one, and we're going to see about trying to bend this over. Okay, and I just wanted to point something out. I know, like I said, I got this off of eBay, and even though this one was the cheapest one I could find, it was like $11, and it didn't specify whether it was a hydraulic mount or not, but when I turn this thing over, I can clearly hear the fluid inside of this thing. So if you have one and you have questions of whether or not it's a hydraulic mount or not, you know, you can do that, and you can hear that fluid in there. Like I said, this one didn't specify, and I believe they were supposed to have solid mounts as well as hydraulic mounts, and people were complaining about the solid mounts. So, you know, I'm kind of glad that it does have the fluid in there. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it may be that every single one of these is a hydraulic mount. I don't know. I haven't seen any that were solid as of yet. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and slide this into place. We're just going to take this one out, and we'll just slide this in just like so. If I can, kind of hard to do with one hand. And it's pretty snug little fit. Like I said, these tabs are really thick, and you can see, you know, it's got rubber on it, but that is just thick metal right there. It's very difficult to bend. I've done one of these on my my other car. It's an automatic, and I was able to use my crescent, and I just started bending here, and then took a hammer and I finished bending these tabs. So you have to be careful not to hit your bracket, because you can break this and damage it. So I'm going to need both of my hands here, so I'm going to get my crescent, and I'm going to make sure I got this pushed up really nice and tight, and I'm going to start bending this over here, because I want this to bend nice and tight around this side. So we're just going to go ahead and start on that. And this is what I'm talking about when I use my crescent. I just position it like that and get a bite on there and go to start bending. And if I can't do it all at once, then I'll work on one part and just work my way over until I get the entire thing bent. But that's what I use. I don't really know any other way of doing it, so this is my method of doing it. Okay, I just wanted to show you, once I bent that a little bit with the crescent, I had to get something solid, because I don't want this side pushing out while I'm hammering. So now I'm just kind of hammering, being careful not to hit the bracket or damage it, and I'm just working it over little by little. Like I said, this tab is really thick, and I'm going to have to bend this one over a little bit too. Okay, now here's my end product, and if you can get it that good, you're probably doing good. Now, for 25 bucks, you can get the bracket, I know, on eBay. But, you know, I just wanted to save some money. And this, like I said, once it's in there and that's crimped around, it's not like it's just going to fall out of there or nothing. It's not going anywhere. So, that's going to be your most difficult part. And now we're just going to work this back in. You've seen me take it out. I didn't remove anything. I just had the engine supported with the jack and the jack stand, and I'm going to put it back in the same way. I'm just going to wiggle it until I can get it in there, because you know, no sense in removing more than you have to. So we'll follow up here in just a second. Okay, I just want to show you this so you see I'm just working it in right through here, wiggling it right in, and I'm just about to get it in here. Just a little more wiggling, you know, just moving the hose a little bit. It's just got a little bit of, you know, room, but it fits in there, and it's hard for me to do one-handed, but like I said, this thing will go in just like that. So I mean, the overflow wouldn't be such a big deal just to go ahead and take out of the way, but it's got them tabs and they're just kind of a booger to pop up off there, so there's like just no sense in removing it if you don't have to. And it didn't take but just a few seconds to wiggle that thing in there. Now, another thing, you'll notice this point that I need to jack this engine up a little bit here, so we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to put this on first, and then we're going to do our bolts down here. So we have our nuts that are going to go right on there, and then our big bolts that go in to the body frame right there. So we got one there and one there, but really simple to do, and this will definitely stop some vibration issues. But these are real common. This car's only got 115,000 on it, and it's just completely gone. So these things are real common to fail. Okay, now these are not self-locking nuts, so you want to put some Loctite on there, some medium strength Loctite. And I'm going to do the same thing with these, just a little added precaution. And now I've got that on there, and I've actually got it up a little bit too high, and you'll notice that the engine will try to shift on you, but you can just tug this thing back into place. It may take a little coercion, but I can lower the jack and pull on it and get it back over there, because it's off position quite a bit, you can see right there. But I'm just going to pull this thing back carefully and get it positioned where it needs to be, and we'll get those lower bolts in there. Okay, on the lower bolts I'm going to go 70 foot-pounds, and on these right here I'm going to go 40. Okay, so that's it. We're all finished up here. We're just going to remove the jack and take this thing and see if it's rattling any less. Now, like I said, you could get the entire assembly together. It's not that much more if you order it and you don't mind waiting. So if you do that, it's definitely going to be better. It's going to be easier too. It's going to be a lot less time, because you spend a lot of time removing that old one and then having to bend the new one back on there. But this works just as well. So whatever you want to do, and like I said, hopefully that can give somebody a good idea what you're looking at replacing this. Like I said, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So thank y'all for watching.